Hi everybody and welcome back to the Upside Dan. I got to see Warfare in the 4DX movie theater experience, and I'm here to tell you if it's worth it in the format. Before I get started, please make me your 4DX guy by subscribing to my channel, liking this video, and hitting that notification bell so you don't miss any more 4DX content from me. So I did like Warfare. It has so many great technical aspects. The sound design especially is impeccable. The acting's really great. I enjoyed the storytelling. I thought it was a very well made film. It was one that I was not sure though how it would be in 4DX. I was skeptical about it. Not that it's the same thing as Civil War obviously, but Civil War wasn't the best 4DX experience. It was one that I didn't think should go to 4DX. And then also, Warfare is such a deeply true and personal story. Ray Mendoza, who actually experienced this, is the co-director and co-writer with Alex Garland. This is all based off true memories of the event. I thought it was a little bit, I don't know if disrespectful is the right word, but I will say a little bit disrespectful. I don't know, it just feels disingenuous to put it in 4DX. Do I still think that it's worth it in 4DX? Stick around until the end to find out. So I will say there's a lot of downtime in the 4DX experience. I mean, there's downtime in the film as well. There's definitely some slow-paced scenes. I still thought it was really good at building up tension. I know little to nothing about this. I was like wondering, oh, what's gonna happen? When is this all gonna blow up? Literally. There was some definitely downtime where I was a little bored, but at the same time, I was looking all over the screen. I was like, okay, something's gonna pop off here, something's gonna happen. In the 40X experience itself, there's a lot of downtime where none of the capabilities are being used. It's not so much like Novocaine, where the first 25-30 minutes, where there's basically nothing, little to nothing. This has a little bit more than that in the first 25 minutes, but you hardly felt anything for a while. And there were times in the film when they would do movements for something that they didn't do movements for earlier. Characters would just be walking along, trotting along, getting into formation, all of that stuff, and the seats would move with some of that stuff, but then earlier the seats didn't move with almost the same exact movements of the characters on screen. So there was definitely times when they could have done it in that first 25 minutes. There wasn't much, I would say. It's definitely a slower piece of the film. It opens with they're all singing and dancing around a music video, having fun. I don't think the seats really moved with that. This is towards the beginning, so they use a sledgehammer to bust a hole in the wall. With each hit of the sledgehammer, you're feeling that in the seat, so you're getting a little massager in the back of your seat as well, and a little rumble and jolt. And then there's several explosions. There's grenades going off, there's tanks, there's different kinds of explosions in this film. You're feeling that in the seats each time with the explosions. It can be really intense on screen. Nothing too intense 40X wise though. It's definitely a calmer 40X, definitely with less usages of all of the capabilities. It still was used well when it was used, I would say. It mostly matched up. I feel like maybe we could have gotten a little more with some of this stuff. If they're going to have Warfare in 40X at all, they should have added it where they could. Actually, this interesting thing is when I went to the movie theater, this is a couple days after I saw Warfare, there's actually a sign posted. It was the intention of the studio and the filmmaker or something. The 40X wouldn't be doing anything pretty much in the first 20 to 30 minutes. The explosions are really fun. The gunfire scenes are really fun in the format. It's weird talking about this so deeply personal film about real life events where lives were lost, so it's hard to be saying, oh, it was fun. That's why before seeing it, I didn't think it should have even come to 40X. I did not feel many, if any, puffs of air at your neck and ears or at your ankles, even with the gunshots. They usually do the puffs of air at your neck and ears. I did not feel or hear any of it. With the gunshots, there was movement in the seats. You felt a little jolt in your seat and the massager kind of working. So there was that. So water, I hardly noticed. Sometimes in films, they'll do water with non-liquid stuff, but kind of thin, like sand. So sometimes with some of the explosions, you did get some things from in front of you with the mist and the air. I don't think I felt it really from above. So really there wasn't much water usage. Definitely some graphic violence in this film, which of course is to be expected from a war film. And they didn't use the water with blood or any of that, at least not that I felt. Again, it would feel disrespectful. I like 40X. At times it is a gimmick. They didn't use water for blood. I thought that was fine, but at the same time, if they were going to put it to 40X, they should have. Water was hardly used, at least in my screening, at least that I felt. Fog was the one that was probably used the second most, if not more than seed movements. No, not really. But fog was used a lot, several times, with a lot of these explosions, the grenade going off, the tank when it shoots at these buildings to knock them down. There's these planes. Intimidation tactic. I forgot what they named it. A few times they asked for these planes to fly really fast towards the ground to make dust rise up, cause a distraction, and maybe intimidate the others so they can get out or move. That was really fun with the 40X. The sea movements were fun, and then the fog also came up. In some of these scenes, it was actually really cool because the fog would stay in the auditorium for a little bit. It would be dissipating, but you'd still see remnants of it on the ceiling. Some of those scenes, it matched that because there was always smoke or dust, whatever, from the explosions on screen. You couldn't really see past it in the film. These characters couldn't. But it was just cool to have that still in the auditorium along with the characters still getting dust and smoke. So honestly, fog was a big standout. Wind was used a few times. With those plane scenes, you would feel the the wind with that. They're on this balcony at one point. You'll feel the wind. If they're on the balcony for 10 minutes, I don't think they were, but the wind is not just constantly going. Some of the aerial shots, some establishing shots, the wind is blowing around in the auditorium. Lights were used a few times with some of the gunshots, especially if you see a spark or a light flash on screen. That's really when the lights in the auditorium will flash as well. Not a huge standout here. Scent, I did notice it was with an explosion. They didn't do it with every explosion, or at least that I noticed. It's the same scent anyway for me, so it's not that memorable, but they didn't use scent much that I noticed, maybe once or twice. Every auditorium's different. Maybe I just didn't notice something. I try to pay attention to all that I can during a 4DX experience. So overall, I liked the movie. I think it's a great movie. I think you should definitely see it on the big screen. If this interests you, don't go see it in 4DX. I don't think it's worth the money, especially after those price increases. It's just not used enough. There's a lot of downtime in the 4DX experience. I just feel like this is the kind of film, the visuals are great, the sound design is great. You're gonna want to go see it and experience these performances, experience this story, not having a bunch of capabilities working in the theater. So I do not think it's worth it in 4DX. The 4DX is good when it's used. I just don't think that it's worth it. So no, I do not recommend Warfare in the 4DX movie theater experience, but I do recommend it in theaters if it interests you. Have you seen Warfare in 4DX? What did you think of it in the format and just as a film? Let me know down in that comment section. If you liked what you've seen here and you want to see some more content from me, please click around here to see some other content from me. Please like this video, comment on this video, share this video with the movie fans in your life. Hit that notification bell, subscribe, make me your 4DX guy, and come to the upside, Dan.